It's Yom Kippur Eve here in Israel. It's about to be upon us, and I just have a few thoughts that I wanted to share with you. The current war that we're in, the Swords of Iron, many people in Israel are talking about it as our second war of independence. And if it is indeed our second war of independence, and there are indeed many parallels between this war and the War of Independence, the fact that we have seven armies, essentially seven nations, although they're all tentacles of the Iranian octopus that are pulling the strings, they're all surrounding Israel. Just as the same as in the War of Independence, we were facing seven Arab armies: Syria, Lebanon, Iraq, Jordan, and Egypt. Now we're facing the Hezbollah. At the head of the snake is Iran, and Hezbollah, and the Houthis, and Hamas, and the militias in Iraq, and the Islamic Jihad. Altogether, a seven-front war in Judea and Samaria, as well. The internal threat. And so if it is indeed the War of Independence, then we need to essentially finish the work of the War of Independence. During the War of Independence, even though it was led by labor Zionists like Ben Gurion and Yigal Allon and Chaim Weizmann and many people of this school of thought, that's today seen as the left wing school of thought of Israel, they had no problem, no compunction, evacuating entire Arab villages that were hostile towards Israel. Entire Arab villages were depopulated during the War of Independence. Those that took up arms against us, those that blocked roads, those that murdered Jews. The IDF basically said, pack your things and you're going, and that's it. And that was part of the 750,000 or so Palestinian refugees, Arab so-called Palestinian refugees that left Israel, the 1948 borders during that time. And in 1967, they didn't go about it that way in Judea and Samaria. All of the villages stayed, including the most hostile ones. And it's causing us all sorts of problems today. And so if we're really at the point of a crossroads, where we're at the point of a do or die of existential war, the same as the War of Independence, then we need to fight it like an existential war, which also means that we need to take land. That we need to take land from the Arabs, and the Arabs need to know that if they lose land in a war of aggression that they started, that they will never, ever, ever get the land back. And that's the only way to win, because every time that the Arabs launch a war against us, they essentially, it's not that they have nothing to lose, they have a lot to lose, but they feel that they're not going to lose it. They don't care about dying, and we can kill Nasrallah, and we can kill Hania, and we can kill eventually Yahya Sinwar, but it doesn't matter, because they want to be martyrs, they want to go to heaven. I don't know if the leaders want to, but as a people, as a nation, as a school of thought, they're willing to die. Death is not what scares them, but what does scare them is losing land. And so the mistake that we did is that we returned land. We returned land to Egypt, and we had a whole idea of land for peace. And essentially that indicated to the Arabs that they can start wars of aggression, but essentially they're not going to lose anything, because they're going to get the land back. And so we need to really, if this is our second War of Independence, we need to treat this as the second War of Independence, and we need to do the things that we did correctly in the original War of Independence. Gmar Chatima Tova.